But digressing, let's move on to another card of the weekend. Earlier in the day, though, probably the other marquee event of the weekend, at least for maybe across the pond, Katie Taylor picking up her second divisional championship against Christina Linardatou. And Felix Cash pick up a good win against Jack Cullen. One of those fights that's going to be lost in the shuffle of the weekend. Go watch that fight. Really good fight. But again, just because there's so much that happened this weekend, that's going to get lost in the shuffle. I recommend watching that. Terry Harper defeating Vivian Obanov. I was close. Anthony Corolla getting a very razor close win against Frank. No. I'm not going to try that. Martin Bakoli Alunga versus Rodney Hernandez. Martin Bakoli obviously won via TKO. And then that's about it for what I remember seeing, to be honest. Rob, you can take over. This is your beat. I'm here to listen and learn.
Start me off.
Make it. I will say this. Make it semi-quick though.
Yeah, Bakoli. I think he's massive confidence growing behind him, and I think potentially a problem on his day. He's going to be a problem for some of the bigger name guys in the division. Not necessarily the guys, but the.
So what do you mean? Like who? What guys?
Like I think it'd be in fun fights with like the Chisoras. I think a fun fight with a Michael Hunter again going forward. You know, a rematch of that. You know, and these next tiers and just see where he goes. I think he picks his shots well. I think he mixes up his pace. You know, like he'll maybe tap and then throw in a big shot and then mixing it up head and body. When he decides to stand and really give it some, he looks like he's got heavy thudding punches. But yeah, I think there's a lot of confidence growing behind him, and interested to see where he goes. Who else? Yeah, Jack Cullen and Felix Cash. That was a great fight. People, like you say, Matt, that will probably, unless you watched it, it's not something that a lot of people are going to maybe go back to look for. But that was a real fun fight. Felix Cash came out of the blocks and right when Matt said, "Let's go, Jack Cullen," he got dropped to the canvas and he looked like this is game over. Like Cash was going to go in at the end just to finish the guy off at the end of the first round. But Cullen, to his credit, he dug in. He made a real fight of it, and he got his own successes at times. But Cash's quality and I'd say is like accuracy and the crispness of his shots eventually took Jack Cullen apart, and he got a good finish. So yeah, sort of almost like a breakout moment for Felix Cash, and I think Cullen comes away with sort of good press as well, kind of from it. Despite a loss and maybe looked a little, wasn't quite at that level maybe, but he came out of it in good stead. But who else? Hopey Price made his debut. People maybe want to check him out. He was just getting it all together, but it's a 4-round fight, a bit of a sprint, and I think he's going to be a guy that maybe a 6-rounder, an 8-rounder, or whatever. You'll see definitely the better of him. But yeah, looks good with David Caldwell. We'll do Crawler next, I think, because I think Katie Taylor, although it was Crawler's last dance, Katie Taylor was the main event, even though she was second from last. But Crawler, yeah, he said it himself, and we could see it at home watching, that he has made 100% the right decision to walk away now. He just, despite talks of fantastic camp and teammates saying he's looked fantastic in camp and like they can't understand, but you could see this guy, in Crawler's heyday, this guy wouldn't have, I don't think would have done too much with Crawler. Crawler would have easily done it. He looked like the hand speed wasn't there. I don't know. It just wasn't there, and he knew it, and he got some very generous scorecards, to say the least, on his final night. And people saying, "Oh, it was Crawler's last fight. It doesn't really matter." And he's like, no, it does. This guy's got the other guy's got a career going forwards. If he'd have got the win over Crawler, that would have meant something to him. That would have meant something rankings wise. And, he maybe would have got another good, big sort of fight coming off the back of this. And I think it was Andy Lee said it, and I hope it's sort of true that Eddie gets this guy another fight because he was very gracious, held Crawler's hands up and, told the crowd, there's your guy, he done well, blah, blah, blah. But he kind of left like, what the fuck? I won that fight. Or, way did I think one card had Crawler by 6 rounds and another one had Crawler by 4. And I think the other one was a draw. But yeah, that was very sort of fortuitous on his last fight to come away with the win there. But he got the big reception and the fanfare and everything like that. So thank you, Anthony Crawler, for sort of a real good sort of story in boxing. You tough fights early on in your career, took losses, come back and ended up becoming a world champion and defended it, and then took on like the Linareses and the Lomas. But yeah, he's definitely gone out at the right time.
I agree with that entirely. I mean, sorry, from watching the fight that I did, I mean, Corolla he looked old, like you can tell it was time. He
knew after 4 rounds. He said himself.
Yeah,
I knew before for that.
Obviously, I think I even said before the fight, I kind of wish he fought someone that we kind of knew a little bit for his last fight. I think I mentioned. Looking back on it, glad he didn't, because I think he would have got hurt. To be honest, like it would have been bad probably.
He might have had like a Joe Gallagher throwing a towel in or something like that. You don't want that on your, you know what I mean?
What do you think he does post fight? Does he have can he do media? Could he do Sky Sports media?
He's been sort of co-commentator kind of, or cut to the talking heads. After a fight, he's part of the
like the 4 guys standing up.
Just out of the ring there. He's also got I think management and training. He's got a couple of youngsters he's sort of mentoring and things like that. So he is 100% going to be in the sport still going forward. So, and I'm sure alongside Joe Gallagher or in that gym or doing his own thing. But yeah, he's definitely in there. But I guess we'll move on to Katie Taylor. Matt has his own opinion of this, but he's told me to talk about it. So for me, Taylor, clear winner.
Talk about it. No, I didn't dare to talk about it.
Huh?
Well, wait. I don't even know what you're talking about yet. I'm gonna let you go.
But this is your card. You talk about it.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you meant just the Taylor fight, because we have different opinions about this Taylor fight.
Yeah. Well, you go with yours then, because you can beat the bad guy straight away.
I will say this. This was a really fun, entertaining scrap. And Katie Taylor, obviously, I think showed that she was the better boxer. Clearly won the fight, right? Like, don't get me wrong here. She won the fight. However, this was a tough fight for her. This was a competitive fight throughout, in my opinion. This is one where she has to adapt and had to sort of get through things. And in my opinion, I think this fight is evident that she struggles with forward pressure. Because we've seen now in several fights that somebody that can just sort of ignore her technique and be a little bit of a brute when it comes to boxing, just march forward, they can cause Katie Taylor to act a little more erratic with her movement, with her technique, to get a little more unraveled, so to speak. She can still win fights in that way, but it does affect her. She's not a perfect back foot boxer in a way. That is, to me, not her forte. I think she is far better coming forward and throwing combinations and working behind the jab, to be quite honest. I think she can be the back foot, use lateral movement, work counter. She obviously can. She has the ability. She's talented enough. But I think that's not what she wants to do. I think it's evident when we see people pressure her. I don't know what that's indicative of, other than she struggles with pressure. I'm not saying that she's now not the top 2 women's boxer in the world. My point is that just needs to be adjusted for in camp. Whether or not within her camp, or a new camp, new coach, new ideas, new eyes in, whatever it may be, I think there's clearly an issue right there with pressure and pressure fighters. Whether it's a game plan issue, I think that's probably what it is, or something else, I don't know. But I do think she struggles with forward pressure and like a real aggressive fighter. Not that she can't beat them, but that she struggles with them more so than others. You know, if she fought, let's say, a really slick boxer, I think she would actually do better because she's more than likely a better boxer than everyone else. You know? Again, that's sort of my thoughts on the fight. Katie Taylor, still really fun fight, good performance, but I expected her to be more definitive in this win, and she wasn't. And that, to me, is indicative of several things.
Yeah, I just don't agree on the game plan thing. You took to Twitter and was all
I emphasized more about, I think she likes game plans. She likes backup game plans, per se.
But I thought the game plan that they had was working perfectly fine. She was getting pressed, sure, but she was making her miss a lot. She was getting her own shots off. Yeah, she got caught a couple of times, but it's fighting, and she sometimes likes to stand and get into a bit of a war. And that's just Katie Taylor. That's the Irish in her, you know. And I just think she, off the back foot, she was jumping in and out, getting her shots off, getting back out of range, and she made Obanov miss a lot, I felt. And I had no issue with the game plan. Sure, I knew this Obanov was going to be bringing it, and she just wasn't skilled enough to make her pressure count.
Not Obanov. Linardatou.
Oh, sorry, Linardatou. Yeah,
mixed up women's fights. It's okay.
I'll forget. Yeah, we'll talk quickly on Terry Harper. But for me, she just wasn't at the level that Katie Taylor is, and I think Katie Taylor showed her boxing skills. And while it was fun and she was getting pressed, I thought she still handled it sort of fine enough. And you might be right. I mean, we saw her Pursoon putting it on her and coming forward.
This is a point I want to bring up. Also, in the context that this was a lesser opponent than Pursoon, and a person that lost to Pursoon. I know boxing math doesn't work all the time, but this was a person on paper that was not as skilled as Pursoon, was on the level of other fighters that Katie Taylor's beat, and Katie Taylor struggled with her. I think that's, again, due to that aggressive pressure of Linardatou, and that's just something that she has to work on. Like that, because she isn't the heaviest hitter. Like, let's be honest, Katie Taylor doesn't pack a lot of power in her punches. No. So people that press her are going to find success because they can walk through some of those shots. She's going to have to just adjust to certain things. Maybe add some different combinations. You know, look at, again, game plan for more specific fighters. Say, this person likes to throw these 3 combinations all the time. Let's work on how to adjust, how to evade these shots. Just certain things in camp that I think she can adjust on that are slight adjustments to make her more dominant in these wins against, honestly, people that she should be a little more dominant against.
I wanted to, and I didn't watch this fight yet. I haven't got to this card yet. I was going to watch it this morning, but then I read that Katie Taylor dominated the fight. And you guys saying that's not really true? That's not really the case? That was a good competitive fight?
It was a good competitive fight. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this fight.
But you knew who won. Like, Katie Taylor clearly won, but it was a good scrap.
Katie Taylor, I thought, clearly was ahead by at least a round or two. But like,
was that close? Okay.
Yeah, but like, it's a 10-round fight because it's women's boxing. Unfortunately, it's not a 12-rounder. And but I thought she won, a 6-4 decision, maybe a 7-3, but it was competitive throughout.
Okay, well, I'm going to go back and watch it. See, I didn't think, like, she wasn't a puncher at 35. So moving up, like, she's not going to – I don't like her moving up. And I get it. Like, if she wants bigger fights, she has to move up in weight, and that's just kind of the dynamic of women's boxing. But, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just kind of old school. Just fight in your weight class. I mean, I guess – they have to. It's their career. They have to make money. They want the biggest fight. So I can't tell her not to move up. I don't think the bigger weight classes really fit her well. But I hadn't watched the fight, so I'll go in and watch it.
Sorry, Gary, if you're continuing, my bad.
No, that was my only thought on that. I wanted to get into the Crowler fight as well.
Go for it, Gary.
Rob.
Oh.
Did you shed a tear? I mean, did you all those amazing victories that Crowler had over like Gavin Reese and John Murray and Darlise Perez? Like,
but don't forget Barroso.
I don't even know who that is. That's who he made his defense against, right?
Yes.
Before he fought
You do know who it is.
Barroso, I mean, all these and the losses, the Gary Sykes, both of them, the loss to Darlise Perez. Like, I mean, they're like. You have a big montage for him. I mean, how did it hit you?
Yeah, it got me, Gary. It got me.
The Sykes losses? Because, I mean, we talk about, Ali, Frazier. We talk about Holyfield, Bo. We talk about Crawler, Gary Sykes in that breath. So I wanted to see how it impacted you. And, Deary Matthews, when Deary Matthews beat him, and then he came back and fought Matthews to a draw. I mean, how big was this? I mean, and what kind of tribute did we pay to this amazing career of a B+ fighter?
You're just straight hate. I'm not.
I like him. I
don't even want to address you right now, Gary, because you're just being a horrible person right now.
Did they show a highlight reel of both of his knockouts too?
Gary, it's just straight hate.
I actually like Anthony Corrala. I really
do.
Don't. No, I do.
Don't. No, you don't.
Oh my God, I'm crying, guys. This was so
when you were on Name Redacted and Name Redacted was making fun of him for beating Jordan. I was like, I thought he looked really good. I think the Burns fight he looked good in. I think he looked good in the Jordan fight. I mean, he's not going to beat Loma, but I don't think that fight's ridiculous now. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's skilled, right? I think he's a good fighter, but he is what he is. It's getting broken up because
Gary, it's
Rashi Warren's retiring. Oh no, we're gonna miss Rashi Warren. He's a good fighter.
That's what I mean, Gary. You don't. It's different for you guys over there. I don't know. It just is. This is just. I don't know. I can't explain.
You commit to me, and you get a piece of my heart, and you get my commitment. I'm gonna make you a star, motherfucker.
That's what the UK fans say to all the fighters.
But for me, you just don't get. You don't know the story of all your guys that you got over there. I don't know.
Well, we do sometimes. We just don't cry over it.
Sometimes, but we see these guys. We get Collar got fucking bashed over the head with a concrete fucking cinder block, and he's just a nice guy as well. How many boxers can you say in America are nice guys? I don't know any.
A lot.
Jamel Herring, and Herring's got a great story. He's a he's current world champ, soon to be former world champ.
Yeah, he's a Marine.
And when his career is over, I'm not going to be broken down in tears. He's a good guy, and I hope him the best.
We've established this, Gary. You have no heart. You got a stone in your teeth.
Matt had no heart, right?
He was just crying about Collar. You just saw him. He was emotional.
Yeah, I was crying. That's for sure, over something.
I don't know. I just don't get how sporting moments. I'm not gonna get
tragic sporting moment
or something like that. I'm not gonna get. I'm sure you weren't either because we've established you're a robot. But a big Joe Montana story or whoever, it's not going to mean much to us over here.
But Rob, you don't need to make that comparison because we've already said, hey, we've brought up athletes in our hometown that we've watched our entire lives. They've retired. We don't cry. It has to be a tragic story to make me cry. And somebody retiring isn't tragic to me. That's just that's a part of life.
Then go on, have a good life.
And honestly, in most cases in combat sports, it's honestly something that we kind of want at the end of it. When a fighter gets to that point where they do retire, usually they've been beaten up to the point where they have to quit, and we've been begging them to retire. Okay, I just don't think that it's retiring is not an emotional thing. For fans, for me.
Well, look, I'm not saying
for the fighter it is, but not for me.
I'm not saying the Manchester Arena was in danger of flooding because of the fucking amount of tears. All right, I'm just saying it's emotional. People might get a little bit this is a bit choked up. You've changed it into full flood, floods of tears. Everyone
Rob, you did say cry.
Hugging.
You did ask us. We did in the last video. You guys can check it out. It's clipped out for everything. I think the title is "Have Sports Ever Made You Cry?" Gary trolling Rob, LOL is the name of the video. Yeah. I want to say, Rob, you're the one that brought up crying, not us. You're the one that said, have sports never made you cry? And so that is where this topic.
And what the answer was a straight no from both of you.
Not in the context that you were giving us. No.
Maybe the Easter Bartholomew fight made me cry, but that was different.
And we brought up examples where we did cry. People dying.
Yeah.
People getting severely hurt and injured, and we've watched it live, but not somebody that has a great story and has a good career and then retiring. That's good. That's a good story.
It's just a nation of people with more guns than people. So
Matt's a Lakers fan, right? He grew up, he watched Kobe Bryant his whole career. He probably didn't know the Lakers without Kobe Bryant.
Agreed,
right?
Yes.
And Kobe Bryant retired. Matt, I mean, could you get out of bed the next week? And that's Kobe Bryant.
I was happy. I was happy he retired. He was, an older guy. He had a ton of injuries. had a good last game. We scored 60 points. We were all hyped. We were clapping in the room and we were watching the game. All my buddies. It wasn't,
and
it wasn't
Kobe
sad.
Bryant to basketball is not like an analogy like Crawler to boxing. Right? It's not the same. Kobe's one of the five greatest players of all time.
When
Crawler's not one of the 500 greatest fighters of all time.
When we all got the news 3 years ago that Muhammad Ali died, I cried because Muhammad Ali is one of like my idols. For God's sake, I cried then, but not other times when people retire and stuff or people get awards. No, it's a good thing. I'm clapping.
Thank you.
I'm clapping. I'm not crying. It's clapping. It's more of a happy emotion.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, C3PO and R2D2 for your contribution.
Rob, we said that we are emotional, but it's a happy emotion. It's just the inverse.
No, I get it. I'm just. Emotionless. That's all.
No, we're very emotional. We're just happy. You guys in the UK, it's all gloomy there because the clouds and the rain. That's just a sadder bunch of people. We're happier here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get out of that cloudy, rainy, and come to the sunny places like where me and Matt live.
Yes.
Yeah, we're the 47th fattest state in America.
We're getting healthy. We were 48th last year. Now we're 47th. We're getting fit, Rob.
Improvement, Rob. Hashtag
maybe next year 46th. We don't know.
But anyway, Katie Taylor didn't struggle, doesn't need a new coach, and
she did struggle.
Shout out to Anthony Crawler.
Everyone in the chat agreed that she was a competitive fight and she had to work for it. Digressing from that. Let's talk about Katie Taylor still though, but next fight, because obviously it's come out now from Eddie Hearn that the next fight for Katie Taylor is probably going to be a pay-per-view.
Whoa. I've got to bring this back. PSK, please remind Gary that Crawler won a legit WBA strap, unlike his boy Barry.
Did he win a legit one?
Yeah. He
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
WBA.
Was it a vacant belt though?
Huh?
Was it?
Yes. I think so.
Because did Crawford move up? Was that the time difference when Crawford moved up and then like Linares and Corolla moved in?
I think so. Rob?
I don't care. He won a legit strap.
Oh, he was
out there masquerading.
And he defended it against a guy I never heard of. So, and then he lost it. So,
it's a guy that was overrated. Moving on. Katie Taylor. Oh, sorry. Did you have any other point about the undercard, Rob?
Terry Harper, great performance against Obanov. And looks like we've got Michaela Mayer getting all stressy because Eddie Hearns sorted Terry Harper out and Eva Wallstrom world title fight. So it's Terry Harper on her birthday. Shout out to her, happy birthday. Really good performance. Thought she was going to get the stoppage at one point, but she boxed really well. She looks good.
Moving on. Eddie Hearn has declared that Katie Taylor, well, because I didn't see the fight, Rob. I can't have an opinion about a fight I didn't see.
Okay.
Well, I'm not. It wasn't the Sayat that. It was the Sayat, the chat. Everyone, so hilarious. UK is really mad at Gary right now for making jokes. All of a sudden, you guys can't take the banter.
Right, he was the champion, by the way.
All of his sensational victories over Murray and Gavin Reese and Darlis Perez. I mean, all those.
And then Leonard, who did Darlis Perez win his championship off of? Was that a vacant belt? That had to be eventually a vacant belt.
How far back do we go?
Well, again, first off, Darlis Perez was never even a top 5 lightweight. The fact that he got a belt is sad. So it had to be for a vacant belt, and I would assume it was from the Crawford departure of the division. Moving on.
Not bad from what was it, a B+ fighter to do what he did.
Wait, hold on. Time out. Who said Crow was B+?
I
did. He's not B+. Stop. Like, that's being too generous. Sorry, Gary.
I have a big B+ range. Like, if you're not an A, I give you a B+. I mean,
and like there's a long amount of people that B+.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. I'm a generous grader once we get out of the A department.
A lot of these motherfuckers are B's and B-minuses. Just accept it, and that's fine. But that's just the God honest truth.